Hey everybody, Nick here, and today I got a video for you talking about something that, well, it's maybe a different perspective on my collection before, that I've been thinking about a little bit lately, which is what gear would I stop with? So let me explain that a little bit more, but first I want to thank my Patreon patrons, who are the folks who are keeping me from stopping. Right, they're the folks who make it worth my while to continue this, making the videos, etc. They are absolute gems, thank you for that. But anyways, I often joke that the thing that most people want when they get into a gear-related hobby is to stop, to get out of it, to find that one piece of gear that is good enough for them to go, you know what, I'm good, I don't need to think about it anymore. And you know, I've had this video a number of times, right? I've thought about what's the number one thing, but what I want to think about today a little bit is, you know, as a YouTuber, my life is very strange in so very many ways. I'm sitting alone in my office wearing a Batman mask, gesturing at knives. It's a little on the weird side, but nonetheless, I digress. Because of being a YouTuber, right, I'm always picking up new stuff, I'm always looking at new stuff, etc. But some people get out of this hobby, and very often they'll say something like, well, I didn't feel like I needed to go any further. I had exactly what I wanted. I could leave. I had found what I needed to. And so I was thinking to myself, if I were looking at my collection right now, if I decided to stop, what are some of the ones that I could leave with? What are some of the ones where if this just went in my pocket, I could be perfectly happy for the rest of my days? So I want to talk about that in a couple of different domains, in terms of multi-tools, pens, watches, and pocket knives, and show you some of the ones that I've chosen from a bunch of different categories. Okay, the pen game is very easy for me. Actually, it would be the Machine Era Classic. This is the pen that came out of my pocket here. This is, as far as I'm concerned, the best everyday carry pen. You can get much nicer everyday carry pens. For instance, the Lamy 2000 or the Shown Design Pocket 6. There are lots of wonderful everyday carry pens out there. Things like Tactile Turn, Urban Survival Gear. But in terms of something that I would literally throw in my pocket every day, this wins with a Pilot G2 cartridge, etc. This has been, for the most part, the pen that has lived in my pocket most of the time, and after I finish reviewing other stuff, this guy just ends up going back in. So in terms of just literally everyday carry, this sort of is the pen for me. It's the one that I've liked most, and this one has gotten a bunch of different pocket time. Similarly, on the multi-tool front, for me, there really is only one answer to that, and that is the Leatherman Wave, and it's to the extent where I've kind of not really spent that much time looking at other multi-tools, right? Because the Leatherman Wave is just so damn good. This here is the Wave Plus with the removable chompers there. I think wire cutter is the technical term. I kind of like chompers, but anyways, this is just a multi-tool that is so damn good, supporting the Leatherman bit kit, having all of the tools I need, none of the tools I don't, having the pocket clip option. There is really not a lot wrong with the Leatherman Wave, and honestly, I could very easily see this being the last multi-tool I own. If I sold all the other ones and kept just that, you know what, I could be okay. On the watch front, it's a little bit trickier, right, because there are a bunch of different approaches, but a couple that I don't have and a couple that I do. One of the places I could have very easily stopped is in the Citizen Diver line. Like, the Citizen ProMaster Diver is a watch that I could have worn to the rest of my days and probably been pretty happy with. Right? It would have told me the time, it would have been reliable, it would have been absolutely beautiful. This is another example of one. This is a Meritac watch. I don't know whether that number tells us anything, but it's the Meritac Titanium GMT watch. Here I've got it actually mounted on an aftermarket titanium bracelet, but it's just a wonderful little functional watch with amazing lume that just works great. It's quartz, so it's going to be reliable, it's going to run forever, and the best part is this watch wasn't that expensive. I haven't put up a full review because they're just not available very often yet, but it's been an absolute joy, and it's a watch that I could wear for the rest of my days, although my wife does say it's pretty ugly. Another choice would actually be the Casio Oceanus line. This happens to be the fanciest Oceanus, but I could have very easily stopped with the same one that Tony Scullambrini kind of stopped in the watch game with. I want to say it was the T500. But the more modern version of the Casio Oceanus, that is an amazing watch, and it is everything I could need and more. This goes a little bit further, goes a little fancier. And then more on the luxury mechanical watch category, actually, I gotta say, this Formex. One could possibly swap in the Omega Seamaster Pro 300 here, which is just a little bit bigger, and as a result, it's been getting a little less wrist time, but this Formex is a really good high-end luxury-feeling wristwatch, but you're paying a lot less money for it, and so as a result, you may be a little less worried about it, that kind of thing. So the Omega or the Formex here could very easily end up as sort of the watch that I stopped with, as my remaining single watch. I could wear any of these guys as my last watch for the rest of my days, right? It would be perfectly fine. Then in the pocket knife front, I've actually decided to do a variety of different price points so that people don't feel like, oh, he's just a freaking snob. Look, the Rat 2. This is a knife that I have talked about on many, many occasions. The Rat 2 in D2 steel is a really good knife. Like, flat out, there is just not a damn thing wrong with this guy that its price point can't solve, right? This is a really excellent knife, and it is all the knife I need in most occasions, right? I might want something fancier, I might want something cooler, but at the same time, at the end of the day, this would do the task, and it'll do the task for like 45 bucks. And that's something important to remember. This is another good one here. This actually kind of surprised me, but it feels like it's on the list, right? This is the Elijah Isham McKenna. This one here has the bronze or brass scales here with a little bit of patina on them, and CPM 154, I believe, is the blade material. I'm sorry, 154 CM. There is a difference there. But anyways, this is another really good knife that I could very easily just carry for the rest of my days and probably be pretty happy with. It's thin, it's slicey, it's not that big, carries well. It is a beautiful thing. The Spyderco Delica should shock nobody, but actually at some level, I've recently picked up this guy, recently meaning last 6 months, the Spyderco Delica in K390. This is a steel that's not super stainless, but oh my god, is it good. It sharpens beautifully, and it really reignited my love for the Delica platform, right? The worst thing one can say about the Delica is VG10 at that price point, right? But when you put a really competent super steel in here, oh man, it's good. The Delica remains an amazing knife, and it remains, you know, sure, it's more expensive in this route, but it just remains a knife that every time I carry it, it's like, I don't, at some level, why am I going any further? Why am I doing this? What? I could just stop. Size comparison, Spyderco Delica, quality comparison, it's done. I like the Delica a lot. Not everyone does, but for me, that's definitely a contender. This is the TRM Neutron 2. This is going to shock approximately no one too, because at the moment it's wearing a set of custom scales from Match Anderson. But nonetheless, the TRM Neutron 2 is a made in the USA, 20 CV, beautiful, thin, slicey 3-inch pocket knife that carries like a freaking dream. It's just an amazing freaking knife, right? I have not been at all shy in my love for the TRM Neutron, and boy howdy, every time I carry it, it's just like, yep, that was really good. One that's actually another more recent contender for this title would be this guy. This is the Quiet Carry Drift. And this is the second revised version with the thumb stud instead of the hole there, and when they fixed the detent issue on this guy, this became pretty much, this is a damn good knife. This is really, really good, right? Because what this has is Van Axe steel, which is the entire knife is completely impervious to any kind of stainage, right? This is just an amazing kind of piece in that way. It is just a very nice compact size, and of course, remember, this is going to be different for everybody. I tend to like knives that are coming in right around that 3-inch range, but for some people, if you want 4-inch, 5-inch, 6-inch knives, you're going to be looking at a different world, right? But for me, this is another one of those where if somebody said, Nick, this is your last knife, okay, I can work with that. A little bit of a shame. I like the variety, but I could definitely work with that. Next one up is going to, again, surprise nobody, Spyderco's Leash Bowie. These are hopefully going to become available again and again through Knife Joy, doing those exclusives there. But this is just another really good knife, and in fact, for a while, this was my only knife. When I was dealing with some serious stuff and dealing with some major financial issues back in the grad school, which itself is a major financial issue, this turned out to be the one knife I had and carried and loved for a long, long time, and it was good. It was all I really needed. It's a little bigger than I might like these days, but at the same time, it is still a really, really excellent knife. And then one other knife that has kind of been featured in a couple of my If I Could Just Keep One videos is this guy. It doesn't get all that much love on the channel, but it really is good. This is the Brad Southard Knives Mini Tolk. And this guy is astounding. It's got a really nice action. It's got a really nice, it's just good, right? It's thin, it's small, it's svelte, it's beautifully machined. There is just not a lot wrong with this, aside from the fact that Brad isn't making that many of them, right? But this is another knife that could very easily be like if I'm walking away from the collection, I could walk away with that in my pocket, that on my wrist, that in my other pocket, and this in my pack, and I could be a happy freaking camper. So, I don't know. It's kind of different than the question of, like, what is the one you would keep, right? Because that makes it feel like there has to be a level of attrition here, and it's very different from what is the best, because, well, no, I'm not saying any of these are the best knife. I'm just saying that they're ones that I would be personally happy with. Are they all uniformly perfect? No, absolutely not. Each one of these guys has some flaws, right? I can talk about the good, the great, the bad, the ugly of each one of these knives, but at the same time, they're damn well good enough for me. So I'm curious, what could be a knife that you could walk away with? Or if you've left the hobby, what did you walk away with? What was the thing that you meant, like, why am I still looking? This is good enough. You put it in your pocket and you were done. You moved on to other parts of your life. You moved on to another hobby. You moved on just to, going about your business, right? I don't freaking know. But what was able to, end you? No, that doesn't sound right. What knife was there for your end? No. Phrase that properly and then put it down in the comments, please. But anyways, I hope this has been interesting to you. And again, these are just suggestions. These are just the ones that are coming about for me. These are the ones that personally would jump out at me. You're going to have different requirements. You're going to have different desires, ideas. These are my opinions, and therefore they're not able to be wrong. Everything on this damn channel is an opinion. But anyways, I hope this has been interesting to you, and let me know what yours are down in the comments below, and have yourselves an absolutely wonderful rest of your day. Bye now.